Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about my favorite genre of game, the real-time strategy. Now, before I go into any of this, I know many of you are probably a lot on the younger end and have never really played real-time strategy games and don't really know much about them. I'm going to try to keep this video as informative as possible. I'm going to try to keep it at a level that everyone can understand. We're going to try to make some comparisons to a lot of other people. So if you're too young, which at this point is like younger than 30, to have really experienced real-time strategy games in their heyday, don't worry, I got your back. So what are we talking about in this video? Well, basically another big real-time strategy game has failed and they continue to fail. We're going to talk about three different things. We're going to talk about why real-time strategy games keep failing. We're going to talk about what they're doing wrong, and we're going to talk about what they need to start doing right. Now, I'm 34 now, actually. I look sometimes a bit younger, but I assure you that's just because I haven't had a haircut in a long time, and it's very hot right now in Texas. I do look like this sort of dorky nerd right now who would play a lot of real-time strategy games, and I definitely have. I played almost all of them back in the day, in the great heyday of 1996 to 2004. I assure you, the great heyday of real-time strategy games only lasted like 8 years. In fact, I think Fortnite has actually lasted longer than the heyday of real-time strategy games. At any rate, I played all the big ones that you guys probably recognize. Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Warcraft, Dune, Empire Earth, Age of Empires 1, Age of Empires 2, Empires, Dawn of the Modern World, all of them, okay? And that's just literally the ones I can list off the top of my head right now on the spot, okay? So I played through almost all of them, and I saw the rise and I saw the fall. When did they start to fall? Well, for most of you guys who, don't really know this, real-time strategy games started to fall, with the collapse of Westwood, which was mostly their own doing, which I will get into later. The collapse of Westwood, which took place in about the mid-2000s, 2009 to 2013-14 was when League of Legends started to overtake StarCraft 2, which meant that the last bastion of real-time strategy games started to fail. After that was StarCraft 2's collapse because they refused to do anything then push esports. Now that's something that's going to keep coming up as I talk about this. Esports. I'm going to mention it a lot. Esports, because real-time strategy games developers are so obsessed with esports. They truly believe in their heart that the great heyday of the real-time strategy games as an esport is going to come back. For those of you who don't know, StarCraft 1 and then StarCraft 2 were really big esports in South Korea. And that's really where esports took off initially. Because of that, a lot of real-time strategy veterans seem to think that esports is the future. We need to get back to esports. In fact, and I've seen this in a video, I'll go over in a little bit, a lot of people seem to think that right now, a lot of MOBA players are just a bubble that you need to pop. And once you pop that bubble, they're all going to flood back to real-time strategy games. Well, the video I'll talk over is already 2 years old, and as time goes on, less and less people ever actually played real-time strategy games. Unfortunately, at this point, most people playing MOBAs never actually played real-time strategy games. They never played Warcraft 3, and because of that, they don't have any experience. Should MOBAs die, they will not go play real-time strategy games. Now, let's talk about what sparked this video. Why did I start doing any of this right now? Well, because another game made by StarCraft 2 veterans has died. Stormgate. That's right, Stormgate is not doing well. Not only have very few people bought into this game, but reviews for it are already 55%. And this is an early access darling that a lot of people will unfairly give a positive review just to try to defend the game. Despite that, it's just not doing good. Why is that? Well, let's look at this. Once again, Stormgate came right out of the gate going esports. The front page of their website was esports, a new esports. We're bringing back esports. Esports is coming back, guys. Here's the problem with esports, okay? And I'm going to compare this to Fortnite for a second so everyone can try to understand this. I'm sure everyone's at the very least tried Fortnite or seen Zoomers or things like that, right? You guys all know about building the Eiffel Tower. You guys all know about building walls, right? That sort of stuff. Bases, forts, all that, whatever you want to call it. Building in Fortnite is very, very complicated, and it takes a lot of skill to do. I would say building in Fortnite is about as difficult as it was to play RTS games in the heyday back at their height. The difference here The difference here, and I'm going to go back to this video, is that in real-time strategy games, not only were most people never that good, because your average gamer skill has only gone up over time, your average player was never as good at real-time strategy games as people pretended, but the biggest problem in real-time strategy games was when you build in Fortnite, you're not building for 20 minutes, you're not building for 30 minutes, you're building for little bits of time of big action with then a lot of downtime in between. This allows your brain to deprocess things. This allows you to calm down and not have to be at adrenaline for a full hour. Real-time strategy games last between 20 and 60 minutes. Throughout a real-time strategy game, if you look at player cameras, they will frequently have locations on the map hotkeyed. As in, they will hotkey over to a battle, micro a bunch of units, hotkey back to their base, get some technologies, move around their workers, build some buildings, hotkey back to a battle that is still happening, micro their units around again, hotkey over to a side base because they're trying to harass the base in the middle of the battle, or their opponent is trying to harass their base in the middle of the battle, hotkey back to the battle, micro the battle, hotkey back to their base, hotkey back to the battle, hotkey over to the other side. These people play frequently at 200 to 300 actions per minute. That is 3+ actions per second, indefinitely, permanently throughout an entire match. It is ridiculous. I think the lowest actions per minute I've ever seen anyone actually pull off is about 160 in a competitive environment. So slightly less than 3 actions per second is considered the absolute lowest you could ever go in a real-time strategy game. For 20 minutes to an hour, that is completely, absolutely impossible for your average player to do. But here's the problem. I'm going to try to let's see if I can. I'm going to use this guy's video. Great video, by the way. The next major RTS will fail. This is why. I'm just using some of the stuff from his video, but you can go watch his video. He explains a lot of this. I'm going to go more into this later. The problem is, the vast majority of people who play RTS games are casuals. They do not enjoy this high-octane environment, okay? Stormgate, once again, as I joked earlier, came out of the gate trying to go full esports. They eventually did realize, and their front page website did change a little bit to try to reference what people actually wanted in an RTS game. So now we can see, they say here on their website, made for PC, campaign, 1v1, 3-player co-op, editor, free to play. So we have the editor, we have 3-player co-op, we only have 1v1, we don't have team games, but that's a bit weird to not have it launch. But okay, sure, fine, okay. What then is the problem here? The vast majority of people who play RTS games, and I mean the vast, overwhelming majority of people that play RTS games, do not play competitively. They play single player, they play co-op, or they play custom maps. Now, what are custom maps? Loading up my good pal here, Warcraft 3 Reforged, which to this day continues to go. Custom games, are just loading up a custom map. This is not playing Warcraft 3. This is not playing this game by its typical rules, but this is playing a completely different custom game. Now, it looks like they broke the map preview, but we can see here, green circled tower defense summer. This is playing a tower defense. I'm not playing Warcraft 3. I'm playing a completely custom game in which it is now a tower defense. And you can see you can play up to 10 different people competing to see who will survive the longest. We can see Mastercraft RPG. We can see Footmen versus Grunts. This will be a game, well, I'm not going to describe it. It would take too long. This is Helm's Deep. This is World 3 Diplomacy Remake because it probably crashed. Vampirism Fire, Boss Battle, War in the North, blah, 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 blah. We can see here, there's a lot of custom games. This is starting to get to be a pretty old game at this point. Sorry, I can't close it apparently. So what are custom games then? What are they most comparable to? Custom games have been getting more and more popular across a lot of different things for a lot. Not only do we have our good pal Roblox, which is nothing but custom games, but we also have things like Fortnite. And Fortnite, which I'll go over here real quick, Fortnite has also gotten into custom games. A lot of people like custom games because you can play co-op, you can play against each other, you can do fun things, you can get a group together and just screw around with different environments. Fortnite did things like Lego Fortnite, which is just basically a custom game of Minecraft Fortnite. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. I played it with some friends. It was a fun little experience to have. They've got racing games. They've got different kind of gun games, literally just called gun game. But wait, we can see here, if you actually look at the games played here, I'd wager, just off the top of my head, that only about 60% of people playing Fortnite are playing it now for the main game. I'd wager about 40, I'm just talking off the top of my head, okay? I'd wager about 40% of people are playing custom games, because custom games are quite popular. I bought the Frieza skin. You can't stop me. So, then, I guess the question is, why are these people so obsessed with esports? It does not make any sense. In addition to custom games, we can see that there are still, to this day, some RTS games that are seeing some success. What are those? Okay, so if I look up, I'm going to look this up real quick here. Just give me 1 second here. We can see that even to this day, although this is not a crazy amount of players, we can see that Age of Empires 2 still maintains a peak of 17,000 people a day. This is a game that came out like 28 years ago. It's been a while, okay? And despite that, Age of Empires 2, all they do for this game anymore is they add some new factions, some new campaigns in the game, and people just continue to play the game. In fact, you can see here that the player count has remained pretty steady. In fact, it's actually gone up a little bit since it's launched. How do they do that? How do they get people to continue to play this game? Is it the esports crowd? Is it all those YouTube videos of showing elite freaking Age of Empires gameplay? No, that's not it at all. Actually, in fact, I got a little thing here that shows you exactly how Age of Empires 2 has managed to remain relevant. Age of Empires 2 currently has 37 campaigns. That's right, 37 campaigns. In the original game, launched back in like 1998, we had William Wallace, Joan of Arc, Saladin, Genghis Khan, and Barbarossa. In the expansion pack, we got Attila the Hun, El Cid, Moctezuma, and Battle of Conquerors. Oh, they had an El Cid campaign. That could be cool. At either rate, and I hope people kind of understand here, all these other campaigns are new. And let's go through all of them. This is how this game, a 26-year-old game, has managed to maintain a player base. Not through Elite esports or anything like that. Sorry, I know Elite is like super out of date, but I'm using it because the idea that RTS games are still esports is also super out of date. So I'll make fun of them by saying that. So we have Alaric, Vlad Dracula, Barry, Sforza. That guy's gotta be Italian, yeah. El Dorado. That guy's Gujaras, yeah. Prithviraj. Sorry, Indians. Battle of the Forgotten, Tariq Im Zayed, Sunjata, Francisco de Almeida, Yodi. I'm gonna go. Look at all these. Look at all these. This is how they keep this game going, dude. This is how they do it. In fact, in the latest expansion, which Victors and Vanquished, by the way, released only a few months ago, I think. I mean, can I actually... Yeah, Victors and Vanquish released March 14th. So this is only a couple months ago. They are still, to this year, putting out new campaigns that people buy. Victors and Vanquish added 19 different battles and scenarios, which was basically more than any other expansion. The other expansions added 3 campaigns of 5 battles each. This one added 19 different scenarios. Rather than toning down development on the game, rather than slowly reducing the amount of content, they are adding more battles because people play this stuff and they like playing this stuff. And the unfortunate reality of the situation is, I'm going to tell this to you guys, and I think a comment here went over it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can't find the comment here. But this is actually, I didn't get it from the comment, but this is actually true. What do you guys think for an RTS player? What do you think for people that primarily play RTS games is their number 2 most played genre. What do you think? Is it MOBAs? Is it FPS games? Is it puzzle games? It's actually really obvious when you stop to think about it, and it makes a lot of sense how so many RTS people went to their next game. What do you think was their next game? It's RPGs. No, I'm not even joking. The number 2 played game for RTS players is RPGs, role-playing games. If you like playing these games, if you like playing Warcraft 3, what do you think you would also enjoy? Baldur's Gate 3. Shocking, I know. Do you know why that is? A lot of people that play RTS games enjoy things like, I don't know, a good story. They like things like memorable character. Here, let me actually see if, yes, here we can go here. I'm just gonna let this play for a little bit. You guys can listen along in the background, but I'm gonna talk over. People liked back in the day these stories with characters. In this campaign right here, we're playing Kerrigan. And what did Kerrigan do? For those of you guys who don't know, for those of you guys who didn't play through this, it was very dramatic. Kerrigan had turned to the Zerg. She was originally a human who worked with Jim Raynor, and she slowly backstabbed, and you played through it in this mission. You did it yourself, okay? You used the Zerg, and you slowly backstabbed and killed all of Jim Raynor's friends. All of them, okay? And slowly and surely, you kill them. You kill Phoenix. And
Phoenix? No.
What are you worried about, Jim? He died the way all Protoss.
It was, dramatic.
He died because you betrayed him. How many more noble souls do you need to consume before you're satisfied? How many more people need to die before you realize what you've become?
You don't even know what you're talking about, Jim.
Don't I? I'll see you dead for this, Kerrigan. For Phoenix, and all the others who got caught between you and your mad quest for power.
Sure would suck if they retcon that out, by the way, because that was a very memorable moment. So we have these games. We have StarCraft 2, which is a very narrative, character-driven game. We have sacrifices. We have things like that. We have Warcraft 3, another huge character-driven game. We have lots of moments of sacrifice and personal gain, power, lust for growth, etc., right? We have these things play out. And what did we get in Stormgate? I think they have a 5-mission campaign with terrible voice acting, no direction, no writing, no story, nothing. That was it, guys. That's what we got for Stormgate. Even in Age of Empires 2, we might be getting historical stories, but we're still getting historical stories. People feel like, at the very least, that they might be learning something. You might learn about the Armenians, the Persians, the Georgians, the Bengalis, the Dravidians. Do you know who the Bengalis and Dravidians are? Well, you might learn by playing this. The Tatars, the Hindustanis. Hindustanis is not a culture, but sure. Bohemians, Lithuanians, Poles, Sicilians, Burgundians, Britons, Cumans, Bulgarians, Inca, Vietnamese, Burmese, Khmer, Malay, Ethiopia, Portuguese, Malayans, Berbers, Gurjaras. I'm probably talking that. The Spanish, well, Spanish is also, that's Castilian. Incas, Byzantines, Italians. Well, once again, Italians aren't really. But, you know, sure, Turks, Magyars, Slavs, Goths, etc., right? Like, you learn something, and it's cool, and people enjoy doing this. And this is why, if you enjoy RTS games, admit it. If you enjoy RTS games, you probably played through Baldur's Gate 3, and you enjoyed it all, didn't you? Admit it to me right now. So let's talk about RTS games here for a second. Let's talk about this. And I want to talk about something that people scapegoat for the death of RTS games. People scapegoat, that's right, our good pal, Westwood Studios. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Westwood Studios is credited as creating the first good, big RTS games. This would have been back with Command and Conquer back in 1995. And we can see with Command and Conquer, we got Command and Conquer, we got Command and Conquer Red Alert, we got Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun, Command and Conquer Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer Renegade, and then they died. Now, why did they die? Why did this studio die? Was it because evil EA bought them and destroyed the company? But that doesn't make any sense. Command & Conquer came out in 1995, And Command & Conquer Renegade came out in 2002. It was only 7 years. In 7 years, they died? Well, yeah, actually. And I'm sorry to burst the bubble of a lot of people who play RTS games, but Westwood Studios only put out a couple games that people actually enjoyed. The first Command & Conquer, because it was new and exciting, but if you go back and play it, you'll find it... The next one was Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. A lot of people enjoyed Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. It had a very character-driven story. It was zany. It was wacky. It was over the top. It had a lot of spectacle, memorable characters like Kane. Lots of stuff going on there. Here's the problem here. And I'm going to go over this real quick. If I go back down here into Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun, already by the second game in the mainstay Command & Conquer series, Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun was already scoring 7 out of 10s on reviews. Westwood Studios, despite having large success with inventing the RTS genre, and despite having large success with Red Alert 2, did not, in fact, actually make that many good RTS games, especially not ones that we go back to these days. While I like Tiberian Sun, could anyone name a character from Tiberian Sun? Let's see, there was the core defender, there was Kane. You can't carry an entire game's narrative story on the back of Kane, though he did hard carry, okay? That dude was 1v9ing that game and keeping it relevant. And per Battle for Dune, I love this game. I love this game. Didn't do too very good. So what was the last good RTS games? How did the genre finally die? Here's the problem. The genre died when, instead of focusing so much on good narrative stories, when instead of focusing on things and memorable moments like this still has 147,000 views 6 years ago. A lot of people looked at the remastered of this event and they said to themselves, wow, I really want to go look at this again because this is something that I remember. This is something really cool. You know, I like this pretty good. In fact, here, let me actually... Tassadar Dies. Can I look at this one? How much views does this one have? Okay, this one's only got 21,000 views. But we can see here... Can we go through here? We can see Tassadar, and this is really old. This is an old game. I'm sorry if this looks really old and dated to you. But we can see, once again, Tassadar ends the original expansion, killing himself, driving his carrier ship into the Overmind and saving the universe. But actually he didn't, because Kerrigan came back and killed everyone. It's a good thing. It's a good thing StarCraft 2 continued that plot line with a satisfying ending. It's a good thing that happened. Anyway, how are we ending this video? I'm ending this video by just saying this, okay? Please, RTS game developers, if there's any of you left who have any money, which I'm not sure there are, because you've all failed, because you've all died, because everyone made fun of you for failing and dying, and then you just continued to fail and die even harder. Look, here's what you need to do. I'm going to take out a notepad. I'm going to put this in no unspecific terms. What RTS games need to succeed? And I'm gonna write this out, and we can all keep this together. 1, a good narrative campaign, memorable characters, memorable events. Now look, you got two kinds of general stories, I would say. Some more well-written stories, like the first half of Game of Thrones, combine the two, but for the most part, I would say you have two kinds of stories. Character stories and plot stories. Character stories would be things like, I don't know, True Detective, where the main thing is on emotion, development of character, so character development, things like that. A plot story would be something like, well, these campaigns, the plot of, well, you know, in a historical event, right? But at any rate, you need a good narrative campaign. We want either memorable characters or we want memorable events, preferably both of them combined, okay? But it does take very good writers, people like on The Wire. The Wire is still the best television you'll ever see in your life, but you won't see much like that. Most writers can competently do either good character growth or good plot growth. It takes very good writers to be able to do, well, both of them, okay? So what do you need to succeed? A good narrative campaign. Watch what I don't put on this list, by the way. 2, what do you need to succeed? Editor. You need custom maps. Back when I was young, and I'm sure many young people these days, you probably tried to make your own Roblox map. You probably tried to make your own Fortnite. I don't know if you can make Fortnite custom games easily, but I back in the day for Warcraft 3 tried to make my own custom map. It's probably still out there at this point, and I put a lot of time into it. It was okay. I think I did all right. It's probably a bit dated. It was not done very good, but the editor was made very good. I should say made very well. It was easy to use. A lot of people could figure it out, and myself could customize on this, okay? And this gave people creativity. Humans need a creative output in order to enjoy stuff. And strong editors give human beings a strong outlet for their creative desire. We also need co-op. Most people to these days, in fact, you want to really see something? If we look back at Sutzinch, what does Sutzinch do? This is a very big YouTuber. This guy's old as shit, and he makes lots of videos like this, and he's an older dude. And what did he do? What did he do for Company of Heroes 2? He played it co-op mostly. He actually says it back here. He plays mostly co-op, and wow, shocking. I know. See, the thing is, RTS games, more so than any other game, if a skill disparity exists, it can completely destroy the game and ruin it for everybody. And the problem is that you can't really play with friends if there's a large skill disparity, but what you can do is you can play co-op. But the problem is, a lot of these games do not have co-op. And this goes back into this video right here. I'm wondering... Oh, he actually does have this thing. So what genre games do you play? RPGs are the second most played from real-time strategy plays. He did have it in this video. Okay, I knew it. But at any rate, what most people like doing in these sorts of games is not fighting other players. Now, look, if you're playing custom games and fighting other players, that's fine. Because most custom games in RTS games dramatically reduce the skill requirement by reducing the APM required to like 10. So like you have one action every 6 seconds you might need to do to just generally reducing the skill through things like you don't have base building anymore, to things like it starts being like in Footman Frenzy, you might have things like units just spawn automatically and you just move them around and attack people, right? Most custom games dramatically reduce skill requirement, but co-op games allow there to be a large skill requirement, but they also allow people to play well with each other and for people of various skill levels to actually experience things with each other. And this is true, by the way, the vast majority of people who played StarCraft 2, and I think this video definitely goes over it here, by the way. Oh, okay, here we go. He actually has this graph here. This is absolutely perfect. Closed captions, please start being. You can actually see here, how important is it to have a campaign? 68% of people vote that. How important is it to have co-op? 35% of people here. For team play, most people want that one. For esports, some people like it, I guess, but you can see here it's actually not as high as the other one. Like esports, people like esports, but 1v1, people can't even agree. Do you want esports or do you want 1v1? I think a lot of people like the idea of but you can even see here the average score is just the lowest. It's just absolutely the lowest. People don't want it. Like, yeah, people like the idea of having esports. If you ask someone, do you want esports in your game? They'll say, sure. Why? But if you rank the choices, people don't want esports. You know, at the end of the day, when I heard Stormgate was gonna esports, we're bringing back esports, we're gonna have esports, we're gonna have an esports tournament, we're gonna do esports, I knew this shit was gonna happen. In fact, if you actually go back and you look at those of you guys who have been watching me for a while, I knew this was going to happen. I absolutely 100% predicted this. The second Stormgate came out of the gate, I'm going to say it again, and said that esports is our focus. We're doing big esports. I totally wrote the game off, did not care about it, did not look up any news, did never pay attention to it at all. It was doomed, and it was a game that I had absolutely no care for anymore. And it bombed. Shocking. I know. Crazy. The thing that nobody wants is what they focused on, and it died. That's crazy. But you can see here at the last goddamn second that they tried to do co-op, that they tried to do campaign, likely because they smarted up and realized that they needed this shit for people to actually enjoy the game. But with only 5 campaign missions, you can knock that shit out in an afternoon. And I doubt they put much more effort into co-op. And although they say there's an editor, it's not even in the game right now. So what happened? The lowest voted thing, esports, became their focus. The campaign received almost no focus, which is the highest rated thing. The second highest rated thing, arcade, custom games, that got shoved off and doesn't even exist. Please, I beg you, RTS games, you're holding a gun, shooting yourself in the chest repeatedly, and going, damn it, why did League of Legends do this? It's crazy to me, dude. It's crazy. This is it. This is literally it. Okay? At the end of the day, PvP, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the craziest thing that you guys are going to hear. I think PvP is not even vital at this point. I think a good narrative campaign, an editor, sure, we can have PvP in the editor, in the custom games, but I don't think a ladder or anything like that is needed. Sure, allow people to play like PvP, like give the option to set up a game and have 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, but you don't even need a ladder. You don't need ranked. You don't need anything like that. I don't care. Put the focus on co-op, put the focus on campaigns, long campaigns, and here's the thing, replayable campaigns, okay? Replayable campaigns is such a vital thing here, okay? And by that, I mean running through the campaign with different powers, with different commanders, with different leveling systems. Look, go back and replay Warcraft 3, and you might notice for a second, did you guys ever notice when replaying through Warcraft 3 that what items you put on your heroes, what levels and abilities you leveled up on your heroes could change? Did you guys never notice that one of the most favorited and enjoyed campaigns in RTS history from 21 years ago had player choices that allowed you to replay through it all the time, which is crazy. It's crazy that Warcraft 3 figured this shit out 21 years ago and no one else can put 2 and 2 together in their head, which is crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. These are 3 things. I honestly, I'm gonna put optional PvP. Sure, allow me to have the editor and allow me to set up Footman Frenzy and fight my friends. Great, sure. Do not. I beg, stop putting focus on PvP, dude. Look, I have a group of friends, and when I tried to play Age of Empires 4 with them, they can tell you it kind of became unplayable because even me, who had played RTS games like 20 years ago, I was still generally good enough that half the time I needed to just sit there for 10 to 15 minutes doing nothing because everyone else was kind of trying to figure out how to even play the game. And the issue is everyone else is trying to figure out how to play the game, even after, because that's the thing, these games can take like 50, 60, 70 hours to learn. You need to learn tech trees. You need to learn units. You need to learn resource prioritization. You need to learn build orders and stuff like that, right? You need to learn what the heck a build order could even mean. And when you do that, yeah, I mean, sometimes in these games, I'll just go and get up and get a drink and stuff because like other people are going to need like 15 minutes of time to even try to catch up to where I'm at. But that's not fun. It's not fun to do that. Now, if Age of Empires 4 had like an 8v8 co-op mode or like a horde mode where it's you and friends setting up defense and trying to like block the AI or something like that, or if we had like heroes and levels up and you could do stuff like that, great, you know, 10 out of 10. PvP focused game, in my opinion, did not work. That's all I have to say. That's this entire video. So, I just beg everyone who does this stuff, look, I beg you, please never mention esports again. If you mention esports in an RTS game, I will not pay attention. I will not buy it. I will not look at your news. I will totally write you off. If you ever announce an RTS game and you ever say esport, I'm done. That's it. I'm out. And I have been right every single time. And everyone has been right every single time. I beg you, stop it. Stop doing esports. Stop it. Just give me the editor, give me the campaign, let me replay it, give me co-op. I beg you. I beg you. Okay, so that's this entire video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody. And as always, have a great rest of your day, everyone.